he stopped. I saw you dancing around. I was hoping I'd catch you still.
I'm not doing that in public, bro. A little too much.
Oh, dude, I
saw
it. I was thinking about cutting into it like 4 seconds left just to catch you off guard.
Dude, no, the Caucasians would kick me off the team. They'd be like, he's out. That's it. Like, card revoked.
What's going on, everybody? We're back again, back in action. We got Justin Staley in the chat. What's up, brother? Hope you are well. We got a return guest. We got Frankie Provolone in the chat. What's up, Slayers from the Slay Nation tournament? What's up, Frank?
What's up, Frank?
But we got our man JD in the house tonight.
I'll let you say his last name. I'll jack it up.
I just call him Brudda.
Yeah,
Brudda.
Right? Just better that way.
It's here. I'm gonna pull him in because I think I got it. It's Desrosiers, right?
Yeah, man.
See? Can I buy a vowel?
Two.
You know, I say that and it's spelled like it looks. I mean, I'm just an idiot. It's fine.
What's new, man? Good to see you. Welcome back again. If you guys don't know who JD is, go crawl back underneath your rock. JD's been around. He's been on the podcast numerous times, man. He's a good friend of ours. So we wanted to, we actually kicked off this year, the third season of Paddle and Fin with JD here on the OG show. So checking back in, seeing what's new with him, just shooting the breeze and seeing how life's treating him and things like that, man. So first and foremost, man, how are you doing? How's the family doing with Corona and everything going on? You guys all staying healthy and good, brother?
Yeah, man. Everything's good. Just maintaining the social distancing as best we can. Been working. My wife and I both have been working from home since March.
Oh, wow.
About 9 or 10 weeks ago, I was allowed back into our office here in Greenville. But they just did a recall. This is the second week, so they phased us back out. I'm only allowed in the building 2 days a week now. So, and the family's great, man, both in Atlanta and Florida. So we're just trying to obey the protocols and, use this time to connect deeper with our family, with our souls, and of course, get healthier.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, you're on you're on a little thing right now. You were just telling us before we kicked off, man. No sweets, no nothing. Trying to get mean and lean, right?
Yeah, my wife has inspired me. She's on this very regimented program. She's probably over 15 weeks in, and it's just been phenomenal. So she really pushed and inspired me. I've been watching the amount of content that I eat, scaling back my portions, and I haven't had sweets or alcohol in 81 days. So I've dropped 12 pounds and probably going to try to keep going. I'm going to have a cheat day next weekend for our anniversary. But I'm just going to stay right with the program.
Stay out of Greenville. Stay out of Greenville in a week, bro.
Yeah. Nobody likes a quitter, dude. You know what I'm saying? Trying to suck up to the big guy. I know. He sees it. It's cool. He knows all those Snickers you're just sneaking behind the scenes. The Reese's underneath the bed, underneath the pillow, it's all melted. Wait. Maybe that's my pillow.
Oh, that's funny. Too funny, man.
Oh, hilarious.
Well, it's good to see you smiling again, man, and being healthy and all that good stuff, brother.
Yeah, I feel good. I did we got a Peloton, so I did a ride today before the show. It's so hot here, man. I don't want to go ride in 100-degree weather, so
Yeah, has it been that brutal down there?
It's been a hot summer. I think it was about 98 yesterday, 96 today, and the humidity's just through the roof. So
Oh, geez.
if you're not on the water, it's pretty brutal out.
Yeah, well, you guys got hit with a bunch of rain and stuff from that hurricane that went through, right?
Yeah, it hit. I think we got about a day and a half's worth of rain up here in the upstate. Wasn't too bad, but the coast, Oak Island area of North Carolina, it's just across the border of South Carolina, North Carolina, got devastated. I think it pushed the beach like inland.
Jeez.
One row of houses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly, man. I know I hit you up and just to make sure you guys were safe and stuff because I knew that stuff was rolling through there, man. And it was good to hear that you guys were doing all right.
Yeah, I really appreciate you checking in on us, man. It means more to us than you can ever imagine.
Yeah, right on, brother.
It just shows how tight we are, although we're several hours apart.
Hey, man.
It's just time to me.
Like I said, dude, you take me to the finest Chipotle restaurant in all of South Carolina. That's what happens, bro.
I know. I felt special. I felt special.
Man,
that's for sure.
if you guys get back down this way, we've got some unbelievable spots that have popped up around that area.
Nice.
There's my favorite restaurant or second favorite restaurant in Greenville is a Jamaican joint, and it's downtown, but they just opened up on Woodruff Road. It's 5 minutes from work, so I've been going there every week.
Oh boy,
they know me by name. it's pretty fun.
I thought he was gonna be like, man, we got a new Jimmy John's. You know, there's a TGIF. You know, you know, it's like it's the bomb. You know, I remember you telling me like when we were over there, like we're like 3 hours from the ocean, but let's go to Chipotle. It's like right over there.
Yeah. Oh, it was quick and easy, man. The man had to work. We were on vacation.
Yeah.
Can't blame him. Can't blame him. Can't blame him.
Next time we'll spend a little more time out and about.
Well, I know me and Jay drove through that whole downtown Greenville area, man, and it was just beautiful, man. Like older town, real nice feel to it. It was pretty wicked.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
America. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like one of the top 10 places in America to live, and it's very fast growing. About 20 years ago, they did a complete revival of downtown and broke off into the West End. Kind of, you guys drove across the bridge and there's a big waterfall down there. So all that is completely new and revamped. So it's really nice. And the Swamp Rabbit Trail runs through there, and I don't know, it's close to 40 miles long now. They've actually extended it out to where I work. They're about to open up that section this year.
Right on. Nice, dude. Nice. So what have you been up to, man? I mean, dude, I'll scroll through social media and I'm like, oh, yep, another killer shot from JD.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
Like seems like your hats keep getting bigger too. Like
they did get bigger. Yeah, check this bald head. I shaved my head, so I gotta keep it out of the sun.
Yeah,
he's gonna be out there with sombrero, like eventually. Like,
I was gonna wear
myself in the sun.
I was gonna wear my big fly fishing hat on here tonight, just to make everyone laugh. It's really not that big, but it's super comfortable, and it's made out of palm leaves, so it's really cool and airy.
Yeah, Panama JD.
That's right. Sunglasses and all.
Hey, there you go. Social distancing even on the web.
Got Brad Hicks in the chat. He said, dude, JD shots are epic.
Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate that. And hearing comments like that just really, really pushes me, and it makes me just want to keep pushing my personal self and my envelope harder.
Right on, dude. We got Walton Doyle in the chat. What's up, guys?
What's up, Walton?
And then I saw we got Reese Melvin in. He said had to tune in for this one with a popcorn emoji.
Reese. South Carolina boy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man. So I've been fly fishing a lot. That's like I'd say my diehard. Uh, After leaving Bonafide last year, I did jump on and work with New Canoe for a little bit. And honestly, New Canoe was a fabulous team. Everett, Adam, Blake, everybody, Stuart Venable, all those guys, man. They're fantastic. I mean, it's a very family oriented team, but just me personally, my heart wasn't there. It wasn't with any team. Um, I think I just should have took a little bit more time off and just enjoyed paddling for what it is. And that led me to leaving. And I actually didn't paddle. I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but I didn't paddle from August to the end of January.
Yeah.
I had a boat. I just didn't use it. I solely focused on myself, finding myself again and what I'm truly about and always proclaim to be about. And I did that through fly fishing. And
Nice.
man, I absolutely am ecstatic with it. I mean, I went from ground zero to where I'm at now. I can make, 100-yard shots with my 5-weight. I can hit, 8-inch targets at will within 50 feet. So, and then in March, I went fishing my trophy waters. It's the first time I've ever fished trophy trout waters. And that's when it really sunk in. I was like, man, I got to get one of these 26-inch bruisers on.
Oh.
I hooked up with one and broke it off, just inexperience. But we're going back to the same stretch in October. So hopefully I'll hook up on one then. But if you can just turn a fish like that, I'm happy.
Dude, it's magical, bro.
It is. I can't say enough about Douglas, Kevin, and the whole crew there. Yeah, man. I was so stoked to see you get on. Us being on the same team again.
Yeah, man.
And Kevin is just like us talking right now. He's just one of the crew.
Yeah.
He's really cool to talk soccer with. He's really cool to bounce reggae and music off of. And them being a down home, small business.
Sure.
It's all about, helping people. That's what really led me to pursue an adventure with them. And it's been fantastic. So I'm hoping maybe later this year to pick up another. I'm really starting to look at that Sky G rod. So get that in the 5-weight, and then next year step up and get like an 8-weight. Chase some bigger fish, some saltwater fish with. Got a few things working, so hopefully do a little bit more saltwater fishing.
I like it.
Yeah, man.
I like it, dude.
Other than that, just trying to concentrate on getting back to river fishing in the kayaks. I've been doing a lot of paddling this year. My passion is back. I'm very eager, and it feels better than ever. And just honing the skills on the camera. That's just love shooting pictures.
Speaking of the camera, man, not to cut you off, but we had a question in here. What camera does JD use?
I'm not telling nobody.
It's secret.
It's a secret, man.
Yes.
I primarily shoot with my GoPro.
Nice.
I love my GoPro. It's a Hero 5. I may upgrade to an 8 or whatever comes behind it, but the 5's doing anything and everything I want. I can manipulate the settings in it, which is something I like. I use my drone a whole lot. I'm still flying DJI Spark, but I'm using Polar Pro filters, which really takes the shots to another level. And believe it or not, I shoot with my camera phone a lot also. So got Samsung S10. but
Nice.
I shoot in all manual mode with it. I don't shoot auto mode, and I manipulate the settings while I'm shooting with it too. So I mean, it's almost like a small DSLR.
Yeah.
I do have my eye on a new camera. I'm gonna maybe towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, try to get a mirrorless SLR. I don't want a DSLR. I've had one and they're just too big and bulky. So I'm going to try to go after a mirrorless, probably Sony Alpha or something along that lines with 2 or 3 different lenses.
Nice. I dig it, man. I dig it.
Thank you.
Mirrorless
Yeah,
in the
man.
future.
Yeah, man. They're just so compact, and you can put them in a dry box and not worry about them getting messed up. And, I mean, they're a little bit pricey, but man, if you can shoot 25 megapixels and 4K video, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even still too, man, like you give it a year even, and you're going to see those prices start to drop, you know. It's the same way when DSLRs came out. Now you can get one for, you know, what, 400, 500 bucks,
Yep.
you know, whereas I know, like, I'm a Canon guy, so, you know, I know a lot of the Canon mirrorless, like the Canon R and stuff like that. That starts around 1,500 bucks. I think you give it a year or two, and it'll be down in that 750 range, something like that. But I know Sony's had great reviews on their stuff, man, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, one of my whitewater buddies, Trevor, Trev the Zev, that's his Facebook handle, but he takes his Sony Alpha out whitewater paddling with him. And it's
Nice.
just, I'm like, man, you're getting some fantastic details of you guys boofing off rocks and stuff. So it's very inspirational.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I you know, going back to what you were saying, man, just kind of taking a break from the team thing. Like, I feel you sometimes, man. Some of that stuff gets draining, and you know, you just got to step back for a minute and get back to what's really you. You know what I mean? I think a lot of folks get lost in that stuff, dude, including myself. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I think we could have a whole show just about that topic.
Yeah.
You probably could.
Yeah.
We could really play like which one of them doesn't belong. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. You're seeing a lot of changes going around. You always do this time of year. A lot of guys, you know, jumping off teams, moving to different teams, things like that, you know. Yep. Yeah, man, I've done a lot of contemplating myself lately, and you know, I've kind of taken a step back a little bit and trying to reset a little. You know, it's difficult sometimes, you know, when you're so enveloped in that world, you know, to kind of forget about that stuff, you know, when you don't have to worry about getting a photo for this or a photo for that, and you know, oh no, I didn't post this month for this company and stuff like that, man. It gets draining. It gets draining having to try and keep up with that stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of enjoyment out of what we're here to do, is to have fun, cut up, you know, and enjoy our time out in nature. I know for me, like, a big change I've seen is the lack of communication inside of teams. And I feel that is where it all starts imploding.
Sure.
I want very firm and clear communication. And, you know, if you'll support me, I'll feed you so much content, it's ridiculous. Because I'm going to go all in. You know, I can't go halfway into a team. It's all or nothing for me. And I think, you know, a lot of people, they often forget that. You know, I think to be happy and successful in a team, I try to look at it as almost like a part-time job, you know, and just give them all.
Yeah, I agree, man. I know one of the first conversations you and I had, and that was kind of, I think, the best piece of advice I ever got, and that you gave me was, you know, treat it like a part-time job, and it should treat you well, you know. And yeah, I think right now, you know, it's just a lot of changes in the industry, and you're not seeing that much of that, so to speak, anymore.
Exactly.
all across the board. You know.
So,
What you think, Jay?
yeah, I'm gonna be a little critical here. Yeah, I agree with you guys. You know, pretty much. I mean, this is the thing I think everybody's got to understand is that, you know, none of us are sponsored. We're not,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, well, most of us aren't, a large majority of us on any of these teams. And we're just an extension of the marketing team. And I think sometimes we may expect too much out of the companies to, thanks, Brad, to, you know, like, you know, I guess showcase you when, you know, your requirement or your expectation is to post a certain amount of times, you know, a month and, you know, do certain things. And, you know, JD, to your point, maybe you're just not, you don't have that connection anymore that you might have had at one point, you know, and the dynamic has changed. You know, and I think that's one of the things everyone's so dying to be on a pro staff. And it's like, you know, it's cool and all, but I mean, you know, you really got to realize what it is.
Right.
And depending on what team you're on, depending on how active you are, you know, I mean, they're going to prop up people that are probably a little bit more popular than you. I mean, if you're, you know, if you're posting a lot, I mean, you're going to get on that board eventually, and then they're going to put you forward, or not, you know, or not. Again, you're not getting paid to do any of this stuff, so. And I think like a lot of people go into it thinking you're with an expectation of something else than what it really is. And I'm not saying it's not good and it's not bad. It's just you just got to be realistic about it, and you just got to know what you're getting into. You know, I mean, I'm like 5 years in. You know, and I'm not knocking it or nothing. It's, you know, I mean, and the industry has changed a great deal, and plus COVID has put a huge hit on everything this year. And I just see, you know, some people are still killing it, like Brad. Even though you're a punk, you're doing really good on the river. You know, Mr. Comment over there. But I mean, you know, I see a lot of guys who are just killing it. I'm not one of them. I mean, you know, I'm kind of like middle of the road these days. I know last year I was probably posting a ton. This year, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just affected to some degree. I'm feeling it, you know, and some people have gotten sick. Some people have, you know, had to deal with the sickness like indirectly. You know, some people have been out of work, and you know, and all that stuff hits. And I think, you know, and a lot of people are leaving teams this year.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some have jumped ship to go to other teams, which don't knock these people for doing that. And I know a lot of these teams want to, you know, a lot of these teammates like take it personal. Don't take it personal. People are just making a decision. Some people are jumping off teams not to be on a team. They just want to clear their mind like you guys.
Yeah.
You know, kind of get some space. And I totally get that too. You know, and it kind of goes back to what Steiger said like a long time ago. You know, it's like you think by tacking on all these pro staffs, you know, being on all these companies is like, you know, does something for your psyche or there's some kind of prowess, you know, some kind of, you know, like, you know, you look like you're the shit. Excuse
Yeah.
my language.
Right.
But I mean, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot that goes into it because they all require something.
Sure.
You know, and let's be honest, there is, you know, a kickback to us. You know, we're getting discounts on stuff, sure. But there's an expectation that goes with that. And then before long, it could weigh on you because maybe you're not putting out the content. And then when you slipped up and haven't delivered enough and, you know, and then you're getting inside your head and then you're realizing, you know what, maybe I just ought to back out and kind of dial it back. And again, to what Aaron said, maybe you just end up with like 2 or 3 that you really, really like and you really feel like dealing with, or you just go to 0, you know, and it doesn't mean you're any less of a person.
Right.
That's right.
And I know a lot of people are, you know, like, again, a lot of people like think there's a status symbol with that. And I think we all have been there. But then after a while, you're just like, you know, I'm a regular dude, just like anybody else. And there's a lot better fishermen out there than me. You know, I ain't gonna front, you know, you know, I always tell everybody I'm a hack, you know, joking around. It's like, I got my days just like you do and whatever, but it really comes down to whatever makes you feel good. You know, it's, you know, I don't know. That's pretty much where I'm at with it too. It's hard to be motivated when, you know, your expectation is too high, I think. And when you really don't have a realistic, view on really what's going on and understanding of what you are to these companies. If you're not on the sponsorship level, you just have to realize it.
I'm kind of with Chris Jonch in the comments right now, just because I've been eating good, but he wants to be on Team Taco Bell.
Yeah. I don't need to be on Taco Bell. Like,
and Mr. Steigers in the chat, he chimed in. He's like, "There's nothing wrong with the 2 to 3, man." Russell Johnson, good vibes, JD.
What's up, Russell?
But I agree, man, and I mean, obviously, it's pretty apparent. I haven't been fishing tournaments a bunch this year like I did last year, and I'm sure a lot of people think it's because of COVID, but it's just it's kind of the same thing as the pro staff deal and whatever else, man. I know I can go out and catch fish at any given day. You know what I mean? Like, what am I trying to prove? I do have that competitive aspect, right? Where it feels good to finish in the top. I did pretty decent last year, but at the same time, like, I was putting myself through that stress level of freaking out. Like, I need to do good. I need to do good in this tournament. I need to pre-fish X amount of days. I need to get there this day. And for what, bro? Well, you know what I mean? I know I can go out and catch a fish on any given day. I still enjoy fishing tournaments, and I'm not knocking tournaments by any means, but like, I just, myself personally, man, like, I just felt like it was taking that fun out of fishing, kind of like what we're talking about right now is,
man.
I took it to a whole nother level and added that whole new stress level to it by just putting the pressure on myself. And it was all for what? You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, man, I won't trade those tournament days and time on the water and everything else for anything. Some of the best times of my life, man. And like I said, I fished a few tournaments this year, but I approached it at a whole different aspect. And I think I fished better because of that for the most part. You know what I mean? I wasn't stressed out. I was like, if I cash a check, great. If not, dude, I just fished this badass fishery, caught some great fish, hung out with some great people and all that good stuff, man. And I don't know, man. I relate to that.
I think it takes a real special person to be a tournament fisherman.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I mean, you have to be, first of all, you got to be good. Like, I mean, just consistently, and you've got to have like a grander plan, like, financially. Sure. You gotta know how to balance it all and make it worth, just the whole experience, especially about where you're going, where you're coming from, how often you're going to do it. And to your point, Brian, I mean, you're usually arriving at these places at least a week in advance, if not a few days. Some guys are just going there, the day before. I mean, sure. Russell was killing it. I mean, he's still doing good, but I mean, some of these guys have done so good in some of these years and just have been, like Matt Ball has done great. I mean, Drew Gregory's doing good this year. Some people just get to the top, man. They are just killing it. And there's always like kind of the same people in the top 10, but then you'll see a shift 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole nother group of guys. And now all the guys that were killing it are chasing those other guys,
Sure.
And I mean, I am not a tournament guy. It's not what I'm in fishing for. I like the adventure, as we've always talked about, and just the experience of being somewhere. And Brian, me and you've talked about this a million times. Like, I like not having to get up at like 3:30 in the morning. Like,
Jay is not a morning person.
I'm just not that guy. I could do 5:30. 5:30 I could do.
Yeah, that's still pushing it. That's still pushing it.
Yeah, because I remember like Glenn invited me. He's like, "Hey, dude, you should come up to La Crosse, man," or whatever the hell he was going. And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, what time are you leaving?" Because Glenn lives right by me. He's like, "Oh, I'm probably gonna leave like 3:30." I'm like, "Good luck." I was like, "Good luck. I'm gonna go hit the club that's 10 minutes away."
Jay likes to get up at the stroke of 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I just want to chill, dude. Have some coffee. Just relax.
But see, that's the thing too, man. Like, you and I have done a couple trips this year, and that's basically what it is, man. Chill, get up, drink some coffee, cook some breakfast. I mean, some days we won't get on the water till 10, but who
Right.
cares? You know, like it's way more chill and relaxed than doing that stressful thing, making sure you're getting up at the butt crack of dawn, getting out on the water, putting in 12 to 14 hours a day, pre-fishing just to you know, get out there and, you know, chase a paycheck, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Special breed, man. Special breed out there.
Definitely.
Kudos to all you guys who are doing tournaments.
Absolutely.
Keep killing it, man. I mean, it's amazing to watch you guys do this stuff. I don't know how to do it. I just, you know, and I'm like part idiot anyway, because I'll like, you know, Brian will be like, hey, you want to change colors? I'm like, nope. Eventually I'll get a hit. You know, and it's funny because we were just out fishing and he was killing it with a Senko Texas rig and I was fishing a ribbon tail. Now we were going pretty much fish for the most part, but then he started out fishing me like 3-1. It just turned on and he was like, you should, and I had Senkos, I still didn't change. I was like, no, it's cool. I'm hardcore, bro. I'm gonna keep going. You know, I'm like, they're gonna like this ribbon tail. I was like, you know, and then I proceeded to not catch as many fish. You know,
I'm gonna make them like it.
Yeah. That's how I, you know, it's okay. You know what it is? I like to keep myself down because, you know, I could be great, but why do that? You know?
That's a typical Jay Randall move, man.
You know,
I'll smash like 5 or 6 fish in a row, and he's like, "Really? Again?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, you want a couple of these baits, dude? Just this is what I'm targeting." And he's like, "No, I'm good. I'll just stay with this."
It's the story of my life. You know, it's a pride thing. I know eventually they're gonna bite it. You know,
someday.
It may not be the same day I'm fishing, but you know.
Oh, that's too funny, man. Too funny.
That's hilarious.
Well, getting back to JD and fishing, man.
I'm having fun.
I know the last time we had you on, man, you were talking about chasing down that tiger trout. That happened yet?
No,
bro.
I can't find him. I know. I'm trying to get it in South Carolina or North Carolina because I did do the native wild trout slam in North Carolina.
Nice.
And I'm one fish away from having it in South Carolina. But I probably would have had it in South Carolina, but I converted over and got my North Carolina license, and man, I've been hunkered down.
Oh, nice.
Over there across the border. I mean, actually, the line's only like 20 minutes from my house, but
sure,
we've been going off the beaten path, chasing different trout. But yeah, I actually was thinking about the tiger trout last week. I'm like, man, where I saw that thing, I wonder if that place is back open yet. So I need to call and see if they are. If they are, I need to visit there.
Yeah.
It was about this time last year, I believe. I saw that guy. I've seen a couple beautiful tiger trout caught this year, though.
Nice. It's a very unique fish. For those that don't know, it's a correct me if I'm wrong. It's a cross between a brook trout and a brown trout, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's where I forget. I think it's brook trout egg, brown trout fertilizes it, something along those lines.
I think so. I mean, it's just the patterns are insane.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful fish, man.
Yes. We've caught a few Bartram's bass this year, chasing trout, which has been fun. I mean, they're only in, to my knowledge, just a very, very, very small region. Chattooga River and the Savannah River down in Augusta, they both hold them. I've seen a strain of Bartrams in Lake Jocassee, but the true Bartram, to my knowledge, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong for sure, is, to my knowledge, is in Chattooga. With somehow they have gotten into Savannah down around Augusta because the water's very cold off Clarksville Dam. But like a trophy size is 11 inches. But they look like a leopard when you catch one. They're crazy looking.
I was just gonna, Brian, are you pulling up one?
Yeah, I am working on it.
I don't even think I've ever seen one. Like I don't even think I've ever even heard the word. I know once you get down into those southern states, like they have like all those crossbreeds.
There's one right there.
Oh, that's a
that's
a bass.
That's a tiger trout.
Oh, tiger.
That's a trout.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
that was I thought the Bartram whatever. See,
Bartrams.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
cool.
very, very unique, very rare fish in trout streams. You really have to find that unique watershed, you know, like JD's talking about. I know you can find them in a few streams in southwest Wisconsin as well. But yeah, and the patterns are that kind of striped look on the body of the fish is the common theme, but you could get some different colored ones in there too. They're mostly green, yellow belly, but you can get some different color patterns in there. It's wickedly beautiful fish, man.
You might get a little red in there.
Yeah.
I think that one I saw had red in it, or the sun was just making it look red. I don't know. I got to go back and try to get him if it's still there.
Get him.
That one. You just
It was a real small creek. It's actually, I was creek fishing. So it's like 15 feet wide at its widest point. And you get in and you just walk and walk and walk. You got to almost be like ninja in there. And I come up on this hole and it turned 90 and it was a double cascade hole and there was a log laying there. And I actually watched the hole for like 10 minutes before I even presented into it. And when I presented, I went right for that log, and he nudged out on me and looked, but he never would commit. And I was like, doggone you. And then somebody come walking up on me. I was like, come on, man. Quit watching what I'm doing. I've been here for hours.
So are you standing up or are you kneeling? Like, I mean, how is it like, you said you're being a ninja, so you're doing that type of approach?
Yeah. We'll get down on our knees. Like in the trophy waters, I'm not going to say get camoed out, but we'll try to blend in with the environment, wear lots of grays and greens because that area has a lot of rocks in it. And we'll actually lean up against a rock and just sit there. And you may sit there for 20 minutes watching the hole. If you see a big fish in there, you want to sit there and just watch it and watch it, watch it and see how it's reacting in the water. See how it's reacting to either other fish or bugs that are landing on the water. Then you try to make that approach because that place that I'm talking it's a one and done. You get one shot at these big fish and they're huge. I mean, last year I hooked up on a 26-inch rainbow. I've never seen a fish. I've never hooked on a rainbow that big. It was insane. And I mean, he broke me off, but it was due to my lack of experience. But I didn't even care, man. I sat there and laughed. I had cold chills running up my arms. I was like, I'm hooked. I'll be back.
Yeah, it's special, man. I've caught a rainbow that big in Colorado. I've caught a steelhead that big out of one of the tribs in Lake Michigan. And I've caught some 20 plus browns out west too, man. And it's just it's unreal. It's unreal. It's no match to bass fishing, but just like you're saying, man, you just got to sit there. It's weird. Like, bass fishing, we're just moving along, looking for those active fish, where fly fishing, I think you're trying to zone in on a certain area where those fish are hanging out at that certain time and just really dial in. And I mean, most of the time you're fishing clear water creeks and things of that nature, so you can really, really see what those fish are up to.
Yeah, man. I know a guy, he guides up in North Carolina. He will literally, he's been known to sit on a hole for an hour before he even throws to a fish.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, but man, he catches some of the biggest trout around.
Sure.
20-inch fish is average for him. He's sticking 24s, 25s often. That's huge for around here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's same thing with Wisconsin, like their average trout's probably 12, 14, 15 inches. And when you find that 20 plus, and I know there's been 30-inch browns caught up this way, that's like a super rare occurrence. And it's the same way. the guy I know that's kind of a legend for doing that in that area of Wisconsin. You know, he's grown up in that area his whole life, knows where those trout live, and just knows when to get them at the right times of the year.
That's amazing. He's
Yeah.
got it down to the science.
Yeah, it's and that's just it. It's definitely a science, man. Like
Yeah.
you talk to some fly fishing guys, man, they'll geek out and tell you like the scientific name of insects. This is a so and so fluffalitis or whatever the heck, you know, like they nerd out on that stuff, man.
Yeah, they really do. I remember when I first got into it, I was like, man, I'm not gonna be that guy. But I'm not quite the nerd on it, but I know
you're turning into it.
I know what bugs to look for and what flies will match those bugs, and I'm starting to, I understand that the hatch and when it happens, and it helps you catch the fish, So
sure.
But I'm trying to. My goal is to bridge the gap between fly fishing and kayak angling. And that's what I've really been concentrating on this year, and I'm going to continue to do so. I've actually only fished once this year with a conventional rod off my kayak. I've been all fly fishing. So, and that was just a couple of weeks ago. We did a really, really, my favorite river around here. We ran it, 4 of us, and we haven't ran it since all the flooding this past winter.
Sure.
And the river changed drastically, and it was a good one. It's still right up there. I mean, it's so fun. There's there used to be 1 class 2. Now there's 3 class 2s on it. There's 2 les drops that are 3 foot. So you got to really kind of be on your game when you go over that. But the fishing's superb. It's lights out. I mean, I think I caught over 70 fish, bass and brim, and I didn't even fish like the last 2 miles. I was just hanging out, talking with one of my buddies, catching up, watching these ospreys fly over.
Nice. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
But I think that's true, man. You don't. There are some folks out there that fly fish out of kayaks, but you don't see it as much as you would think you would. I know one of our shop team guys up in Wisconsin, he fly fishes for muskie. That's super unique. We've had him on the podcast before. If you guys didn't hear that episode, that was Austin Mitchell. Go back and check that out. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things. I think that was the thing, is fly fishing for other species is becoming more and more popular. And I know it's funny, you always hear, oh, fly fishing, you got to be rich to do that, costs so much money. And it's like the amount of money I've seen guys put in a bass gear.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be complaining about fly fishing. You know what I mean? So
no, I mean, you can get a Douglas LRS and throw a Reddington or a Sage reel on it, and man, you're $300, $250, $300, depending on what reel you go with.
Yeah.
But that's what guys are spending on bass rods left and right. And I mean, flies, you can get flies for $250 a fly, or you can, if you get on the right website and you get in with that little niche, you can get flies for 53 cents a fly.
Right.
And I buy my flies by a dozen. Yeah. If you get into tying, man, tying's unreal. It's a whole nother wormhole, a whole nother hobby. I went to a fly tying class and I loved it, but man, I'm like, can I devote time to this?
Yeah, it takes. Those guys are serious, man. Especially like guides in that business.
Oh yeah,
they take people out and they're like tying stuff like on the boats when you're out there, or the night before. It's like it gets pretty hardcore. Like matching the hatch, and then all that science that goes into that too. Like, because some of these guys are like minor biologists and they know exactly what's going on in the water. And
right.
It gets pretty crazy. And I've always, I used to always think that fly fishing with like simplifies things, and it does to an extent. But as soon as you dive into it, it's a completely different animal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I haven't even gotten like Brian's way deeper into trout. I mean, I've never really even dealt with that. For me, it was getting into pike and fly fishing, and I haven't really followed through with a lot of it. I mean, I've done it a few times at this point. I've caught some pike. It's cool. Probably beginner's luck. Tied a fly, went out there in the winter, caught a pike, like, on a very, like on a casting rod and the reel that comes with it, which I've upgraded to a Cabela's now. But, it was cool because me and Brian were tying flies together. And that's another thing too, getting with your buddies and, learning about how, what the different, and this is the crazy thing too, when you start diving in the materials and all that stuff. And
Oh yeah.
does this,
Yeah.
or you're such a geek that you're walking in the woods and like that day me and Brian were together, we're like, hey, those are turkey feathers. I'm gonna pick those up. So you pick up some turkey feathers, then you take them home, you wash them off, you let them dry, and now you've got turkey feathers, so you didn't have to buy them. So now you're tying them into flies. It's like you totally get all weird with it.
Man,
Yeah.
I know some dudes that would save like their dogs and cat hairs and like use those to tie up some flies just because it made this certain kind of action when it was wet in the water or it would float. And yeah, man, Jay's seen my collection of materials that I have neglected lately. But I mean, that's the thing. Like in the winter, I'd tie flies all winter, sit down at the desk pretty much every other night and just tie up a dozen or so flies. And then by time spring came, I was ready to go. And then by time summer rolled around, I needed to sit down at the vise again and tie more flies.
Yeah, I say if you're not sticking a fly in a tree,
Yeah.
you're not sending it, you're not shooting it, you're not
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
Like, put it in a tree, man. Who cares? It's 50 cents.
Put it in the.
I was going to say, JD, let me ask you this: like about when you're creek fishing and doing the skinny water, are you using a shorter rod? And I mean, do you have overhang? So
Yeah,
like, what are you using usually when and are you eating a lot? And like, how are you? You know what I mean? What's your technique?
So that's an awesome question. Yeah, our rivers are very heavily covered down here, especially the creeks. You're fishing in heavy tree coverage, sometimes rhododendron tunnels. Especially where you go way off the beaten path. I use a Douglas upstream 7'3". It's a 3-weight. It's got a ton of backbone. The backbone goes up to at least the first eyelet, but the rod tip and most of the rod is like a limp noodle, so you can play the fish really easy. I'm using Rio trout specific creek line, and then I throw a 9-foot leader on, and then I throw anywhere between 6 and 9 feet of tippet on also. But I do sidearm casting. Not making real far throws, like 20 feet, 30 feet maybe. But the bow and arrow cast is huge for creek fishing around here. I do that a lot. When I was getting heavy into it, I was like, I have to learn this cast. And I just set a dinner plate out there. Well, it was a paper plate, but dinner size.
Didn't want to make the wife mad.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I got to be able to stick this thing. So I just kept at it until I stuck it, and I fish. All my flies are barbless. If I buy a fly with a barb, or if somebody ties one and gives it to me, first thing I do is crimp it, because I don't want to stick one in my neck or my hand, especially bow and arrow. I mean, you're going to eventually stick one in your hand.
Right.
But that's just how I don't feel I lose any less fish. But then when we get into bigger waters, where we can really stretch out, a long cast for us down here is 50 feet. Unless you're on a lake, then you can really get out there and put it 100 feet out if you want. But I step up and throw a Douglas DXF 5-weight with a sage reel. And again, I always throw typically 9-foot leaders. And then I like a lot of tippet, 9 foot, 6 to 9 feet, but I'm usually more like 8 to 9 feet out there. I think it helps make the presentation better, and it allows room for my mistakes. If I don't make a really nice roll out there, the trout or the bluegill or the bass isn't going to see my line there because I got so much clear material out in front of my line.
Oh, show. You got to get that roll cast down, brother.
I can roll pretty good. I do that with the 5-weight. I don't really do it much with the 3-weight. I'll sidearm it more. I'll kind of whip it up and down the length of the stream or the creek. But that's the 3 casts I usually go to, the traditional one. I'll haul, single haul, double haul on the lake, and a little single haul here and there on the big rivers. Roll cast is a must, and I think the backhand cast is just as important as a roll cast. And then the bow and arrow. There's so many different casts.
You're usually working with like a fixed amount of line too, right? You're not really letting out a lot. It's always, I would imagine, I mean, depending on the situation, but most of the time those tight quarters, it's like I'm sticking to this length, and because you don't want to deal with the extra string, right? Or the extra length.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't usually have typically I won't have more than 1 or 2 good pulls. I rarely have line floating in the water. I might, if I'm trying to, or say I'm throwing 40 feet and I'm like, shoot, man, I think I can make it out to that next log or that next eddy or that next blowdown. Then I might strip out, whatever, and then try to punch it out there real hard. But I've learned lately, and from talking to some old school fly fishermen, guys who've been doing it for 40 plus years, a lot of people think it's ultra cool to, make all these false casts.
Mm-hmm.
The chances are you're going to spook your fish more than you're helping yourself. So my pickup is very fast and very strong. And then I try to let the rod do all the work. And then if I need to punch it out there, I can get on the gas and punch it out there. But I try not to make more than 1 or 2 false casts. But I did throw. Go ahead.
When you say false cast, are you talking about actually making contact with the fly on the water, or are you just talking about just being over the water?
Over the water.
Just okay. Because I know a lot of the beginners, I'll end up sometimes for me, I'll be like, oh, there's more tension when I dip it, and in the amount of time you're doing that, you're possibly spooking fish because you're already kind of riding your way up there. I mean, of course, I'm not fishing for trout, but and I know trout are real finicky and real spooky, but I mean, you could be spooking
pike are dumb and stupid, and they'll eat anything.
That's why I like them, because they're just freaking idiots. They just love to just gnarl stuff up. They're like, that looks good.
They are awesome.
Yeah,
I like pike, man. I think they're cool. But when I'm fishing, go ahead.
No, I fish for
I fish for a lot of slab bluegill. My backyard is my lake is pretty prime for big gills. 12-inch, 13-inch, 10-inch is common. But I still only make 1 or 2 false casts, and then I'm going to lay down. I'm going to make my shot and lay it down there. Bass, you can get by with a little bit more if they're not being spooky, especially if you're throwing a big streamer or a big popper. My buddy Todd West is a fantastic fly angler for bass fishing. He's actually an IGFA world record holder for 8X tippet. So he's chasing another record as we speak. So he's been a big mentor to me also about getting my cast down, getting the time for fly fishing. It's all about timing. It's almost like doing a dance. I feel, it's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Don't over move your arm. That's this 13-year-old that I'm teaching. He gets anxious. He gets real happy, and he's hyper.
Sure.
He's a 13-year-old, but he wants to move that front cast so much. And I'm like, hey man, you're not nailing you're not taking the hammer and nailing it into the wall. You're punching a hole in the wall.
I know what you're talking about, because I'll do that with Brian. I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty good, right? He's like, yeah, just You know, he's like, it's in your wrist, dude. He's like, just stop doing this.
Yeah.
And then
You
when
do
watch
too
people-
much wrist. You do too much wrist.
Yeah, and when you watch people on TV, you know, the people that are going for these, you know, they're using streamers and they're stripping for like, you know, they're out, you know, they're down in South America going for giant peacocks, or they're going for, you know, snook out, you know, on the Gulf or whatever. These guys are all armed, just like, you know, it's just all armed, and you're like, Jesus, you know, and you're like, okay, well, it must be how it's done. And then you got people like that know what they're doing. They're like, stop doing that. Stop. You know, and you're like, wait, this is how I saw it on TV. Just stop. Just put it down. You know?
Brian, have you ever thrown like a 10 or 11 or 12 weight fly rod? Something really
no.
big. And
I think the heaviest I've ever gone is like 8 or 9.
I threw an 11 weight a couple of weeks ago, and I was intimidated. I was like, man, I don't want to throw this $2,000 rod and reel.
Right.
And they're like, no, man, throw it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw it then. He's like, he made me strip out every bit of the line all the way down to the backing. He's like, you can make one false cast and you got to make your presentation. And I was like, what did you just say? He's like, the rod will do the work. I was like, no way, man. And after about 3 tries, you know, you could lay out there to 80 feet, 100 feet, punch it out maybe to 120. I was like, this is unbelievable. He's like, that's what you got to do if you go after tarpon.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then I guess I'm going to be a little weak in the arm.
Yeah. He's like, I always like redfish.
Can I catch a flounder?
I'll stick with the schnook.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, a lot of guys up north, they'll use those 10, 11 weight salt rods for chasing muskie, because there's no real dedicated muskie rods. I think there's 1 or 2 out there now, from what I've seen. But yeah, that's what they used to do a lot up north, northern Wisconsin, Minnesota, was, you know, using these heavyweight salt rods to handle those muskie, you know, because those things can get up 40, 50 pounds, you know, and they're a fierce creature, you know. So they were doing a lot of that up there. But yeah, I haven't gone. I'd say it was like an 8 or a 9 weight is the heaviest I've ever tossed.
8 weights are fun.
Yeah, I usually use that for steelhead and salmon runs up here, coming out of the Lake Michigan into the tribs.
That's
So,
what I've been.
We got to talk to Kevin and say, hey man, let us come up to Douglas in the fall and winter and get on some of those big steelheads you got up there.
I like the way you think, my man.
Oh man, they got a cut of land up there.
I know it.
Primo.
I know it.
Dude, you should see the Muskegon River in Michigan.
Yeah, that's another good one.
When the salmon run, dude, you should see.
You could walk across the water.
You should see the size of these salmon, dude. I mean, and they're jumping. It's insane. There's guys out there with 10-foot fly rods drifting like these Helgramites or whatever. You know, some guys were using live bait or just they're using like worms, but some guys were fly fishing. And I'm watching these fish, and I'm like, what the hell? I mean, these things are like more than half the size of a man. Like, and these are true, like these are running from one Great Lake to the other.
That's insane. I mean,
it's crazy, dude. The Muskegon is like insane in the fall.
That's awesome.
You know,
that's killer. I couldn't even imagine turning a fish like that. That'd be
unreal.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, when they come out, I mean, just seeing them jump out of the water and hit, you're like, what? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so giant. And then you see some of these guys bring them up, you know, and this is like to the point where, you know, they're starting to turn red a little bit, you know, and it's just insane. It just blew my mind. I just said, I didn't even fish. I just was just watching. I'm like, this is crazy. I don't even know how to do this. You know, these guys, I have no gear for this. I'm like, I'd be better off with like a spear, you know, at that point, maybe just run out and like try to bear hug one. I mean, cause they're right there. Like Brian says, I mean, they're just swimming like in these huge groups, you know, these schools, and they're making their way up, and it's just amazing to see it. It's just crazy, man. I mean, it's pretty, I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 hours from us, up
That's
north,
awesome.
and it's so cool to see, these huge fish.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man, they'll stack in there. It's unreal. It's a heck of a good time. I'm looking for a photo, man. The first fish I ever caught on a fly rod, it was a cheap, like $40-$50 fly rod combo that I bought. But the first fish I ever caught on the fly rod was a 17-pound king.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
I remember. Yeah, beginner's luck, right? Like you went out there and you just slammed it.
No, man, that's all skill. What you talking about?
Well, I mean, he was
There we
like
go.
he said, it's better than me
That's
showing
awesome.
up with a shake. It's showing up with a Shakespeare.
There's a
you go.
brown from up there. That's a
Jeez.
brown trout.
Oh, stud.
Dude, we caught like 5. I caught 5 of those that size that day. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You got to make a trip, bro.
Yeah, man. Let all this madness calm down, and
Yeah.
I am chomping at the bit to get back on the road.
Right on. Well, we're winding down, man. It's a little over an hour, dude.
Yeah, man. Don't even seem like it.
I know, dude. It goes fast.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, what?
Time flies when you're talking about flies.
Yeah, I was checking my stocks. What's going on? Yeah.
Brother, man, it's always good talking to you, man. I'm glad you're doing healthy and well, and family and everything, man, and taking time out to chat with us tonight, man. Any shout outs or anything you want to throw out there before we let you go, brother?
Just the normal crew. Big up to Douglas for sure, man, and Kevin. They're fantastic. I can't do it without them. And Yeti and Sims, they got my back too, and Astral. I'm not gonna go down the list. That's not me, man. But my boy Todd West, I love him like a brother. He's really helped perfect my fly fishing, and a lot of it's been over the phone. So yeah, it's been great. And there's one thing I would like to say though, but if you guys know Kwanzaa Henderson or know what Kwanzaa's going through, he is a big guy in the industry. He paddles for Old Town. He's one of the nicest individuals you'll ever meet in your life. So humble. He's got unbelievable, mad photography skills, both with the camera and the drone. He's going through a real hard time, man. If you guys can, anybody listening, please go check on Kwanzaa's page. He's selling prints. He's battling stage 4 cancer. He's been going through a real rough week. So if you pray, please lift him up, and just send him a message. Say hello to him. It'll mean the world to him. I try to talk to him a couple times a week. You may hear back from him, you may not. Just be patient. He's going, like I said, he's been through a lot of pain and stuff for the last last week and a half. But yeah, other than that, man, I really, really, appreciate this brotherhood that we have here. Thank you for allowing me to be on Paddle and Fin again. It's always a blast.
Dude, you got a permanent seat, bro. You got a permanent seat. Open door, man.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate you, man. Taking us up on the offer to sit down and chat, man. It's always a good time, man. Brother.
Anytime, and just I got a few things working in the background, so yeah, all that's about to come to full circle. So I can't wait to see what happens. And
you got some aces up your sleeve, bro.
He's making a cake.
Some wild aces.
He's like, I learned to bake. Here's the cake.
It's going to be a different road, and it's something I've had to think about for a long time, but I think it's time to do it. And, it's all about to happen. So we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, brother.
Sweet.
Well, let us know, man, when we can talk about it.
Yeah, man. It won't be long.
Sweet.
Yeah, without all the vagueness.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the green light today.
Yeah.
But yeah, the VP of marketing was on vacation for like the last 13 days.
It's
all
funny.
good,
You're
man.
like dancing around the details. You can totally tell. You're like, well, it's this really great
Yep.
thing, and it's gonna be super, and you're gonna really like it. It's really cool. I can't wait to tell you about it. It's definitely something you want to know about. Not right now.
Some people may support it and some people not. You know, I'm expecting some hate to come from it, but I really don't care. You know,
Hey,
I'm
man.
gonna do like me and Brian talked about. I'm gonna do what's right for me and what
bro.
I feel is right.
You're the only one that matters. You're the only one that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, when it comes to any of our choices, and that's your little lesson for everybody out there in public. Just do what you want.
Public service
Who cares what
announcement.
anybody thinks? Yes, be judged. Have fun with it.
That's right.
yeah, man. Just do you. Do what makes you happy, brother.
Yeah, man. And you know, if you guys need anything from me, I'm always here for you.
Appreciate it, bud.
Stack of hundreds and some of that Jamaican food you've been posting up, bro. Just saying.
I can send the Jamaican food, the hundreds. Give me a week or two. I gotta go rob a bank or something.
Hey, man, you can wear a mask in public. I'm just saying.
This is true. You know, and I hear the FBI won't stop you. I mean, I don't know. A friend told me that.
Walk up in there.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, too funny, man. Too funny. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another epic segment. Till next time, boys and girls, tight lines and smooth paddling. Peace.